a great tool in preparation for this talk today. Give an example. I entered the prompt to ChatGPT asking about intelligent automation ROI and better outcomes. Okay, what will it come up for me? Kind of preparing myself to this
Yes,
conversation, and it
yes.
came up with very proper, I would say, answer. It's such a vanilla answer that I'm not gonna be use it as it is. Just to start with the first sentence, automation technology can provide a variety of benefits for business, including increased efficiency, reduced cost, and improved accuracy. Okay, we
Yes,
cannot argue with that. One more
exactly.
sentence. The return of investment for automation technology can vary depending on the specific technology and the use case. Exactly what you two said, right? But
Yes,
I'm
yes,
not going to be using these sentences just blindly, because this is like what it is, right? This is the open door to the next kind of prompting you for your creativity, right? But
yes,
it's a very plausible answer. What do you think?
yes. And it's actually my kids, they love it
Yep.
because the way they do homework is and the teachers, they have a headache now because they need to understand whether it was really written by a human or not, and sometimes it's not that simple, right? So I think this is great. I mean, for example, there's hundreds of books on Amazon that have been written or co-written by ChatGPT, and people are selling it. The risk here, obviously, is that you will end up having a bot talking to another bot. You're gonna have a Chat GPT enabled bot talking to another Chat GPT, enabled bot, and at the end of the day, again, there will be a situation where this is perfect, and there will be a situation where, again, the value will be limited because, as you said, it's going to be very generic, very plain vanilla, and also I come back to that point. We need to make sure we understand the data source for all those statements.
Exactly. Good times, exciting times for sure. All right. But as with any other tool, I'm preaching to the choir here. As with any other tool, let's understand the tool, right? At the same time, it's too early to say that, hey, the chatbot taking up the world. Not yet. Not yet. So let's become
But
smarter because of it.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, but the bubble is cool, right? We need bubble
Very
of
cool.
excitement, and people like to surf those bubble, and I mean, nothing wrong with that, right?
And
I
look at
mean,
business
it's
opportunities, right? You said some of your friends already implementing. They're already
hmm
looking. That means they're already discovering something next. All right. And all these new companies and new tools, progressing us forward. This is a great time we're
yes,
living in.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
kids
And
will
kids.
kids
And
will
kids.
appropriate all those concept that for older people like us might be more difficult to understand. For them, this is a given already, and this is their world. And I'm sure if your kids will leverage the API and do amazing stuff. So this is great. I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as ChatGPT told us, you know what? Intelligent automation is all about technology and use cases. You mentioned use cases before. Could you please share in conclusion of our conversation few shiny, like good, practical use cases that you saw working, that you saw company implementing and getting great results because of it?
Yes, this is actually the most important thing here is how we use technology. And that's why this technology agnostic approach to use cases is very important, because ultimately we don't care what technology was used. What we care is, how we use it and what it means. I think I'm going to try to select a couple of examples, right? So around cost, right? When I look at typical call centers, when I look at typical support environment that are basically managing tens of thousands of tickets, the typical call center, main category of tickets is called password reset, because when people go on holidays, guess what? They forget their password because they had good time and they totally don't remember, the password. The point here, this is the perfect example of, area where some companies are not yet fully on top of all those tickets. And, the intelligent automation, I have an example where we deployed about 30 different use cases against a support environment, and we basically automated the ticket volume by half. meaning half of the ticket volume is now not touched by a human anymore, right? So again, I think this is best example of what technology can do. When you have large volume of repetitive ticket, I forgot my password, I cannot access the, I don't know, the SharePoint, the typical, my disk is full, my internet is slow, the Wi-Fi doesn't work, blah, 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 right? So this is perfect example of where technology can make a huge difference, because guess what? The guy on, L1 support center, level 1 support center, closing the same ticket, all day long, would like to do something a bit more challenging. And if there is in front of them a robot, a software layer, a digital workforce layer that can go and handle all those very repetitive, very boring, very simple tickets, this is actually good news for for the level 1 guys that will end up doing a bit more than just copy and paste. Another very important example where we see significant improvement. We worked in a financial department, and where we were able to using automation to greatly improve response time. I think response time is very often a problem where it's very difficult when you get a lot of requests. Let's say you have clients or you have internal employees. Let's say you're an HR department. You get a lot of requests. It's very difficult to prioritize them correctly and then to ensure, proper response time to the most critical, the most important request, right? Very often when you look at SLA's report, whether it's internally managed or externally managed by a partner, it is extremely difficult, what we call severity 1, priority 1 type of request. It's very important, that we are able to really do a good job with response time. The perception here to the client, if they place a request for an order and it gets fulfilled in 2 days versus it gets fulfilled in 1 hour, is totally different, right? We can see how Amazon is really the king of that, right? And not only they are able to deliver on time, but very often they make sure they deliver before the expected date, so you get a nice surprise. And the point here is automation can help a lot improving response time and making sure that all those requests, all those orders, all those issues that are raised by clients, users, employees are really processed in a matter of minutes instead of hours or sometimes days, right? So I think this is really, really important to picture that this is really bringing satisfaction. It's really bringing quality to the environment. And again, think about all those poor guys that used to handle all those orders manually, and they were working against an SLA, against a clock, being shot because the SLA was red. I think the technology is really, really helping, doing a good job at fixing that and at scale, right? So you can have organization with tens of thousands of orders to fulfill, tens of thousands of requests to onboard a new employee, for example. The experience you give to an employee here is going to be critical. And if you are able to do that smoothly, and if the response time across a different step is good, the employee is going to have a great experience, even before they entered the office, right? I think this is really, really important, because people should see that as this is going to change how my clients is going to see my company. The perception, the image of your brand is going to be totally different if you correctly and seriously implement those technology in your environment, right? So I can only say, make sure that this is fully leveraged. Make sure that you have the right people helping you inside your company, outside your company, because this is truly going to disrupt the bottom and the top line of your P&L.